short update on what's in bloom in my collection. I have a very large collection and I aim to have 20% or 1/5 of everything I own in bloom at any time. So I try to have different types of orchids that are seasonally in bloom at different times of the year. Here is a cool grower that I've actually moved out of my growing area into the kitchen after it came in bloom. This is a Masdevallia. It's a hybrid of some kind. We suspect it might be Prince Charming. It has 5 very nice spikes. I didn't steal, my sister knew I was doing this, but I basically yanked this out of my sister's garden back in November. We were visiting and she had a big pot of these, and so I reached in the pot and I just yanked out a chunk, and it's huge for a Masdevallia. It has much larger leaves than normal, and I'm really not sure what it is, but it could be Prince Charming. Prince Charming, I can't remember what it is, but one of its parents is Vetchiana, and Vetchiana does look a lot like this, though smaller, because, well, I also yanked a Vetchiana out of one of her pots, and I have that too. Over here we have my little no ID Phalaenopsis. We think this might be like White Cloud or something. Don't know. I actually dug this orchid out of the trash. It's been in bloom for, I guess, 2 months now. It's also in the kitchen so that we can enjoy it. This is my Dendrobium Holy Night. It's a Nobile type hybrid. I just moved it downstairs so that we can enjoy the flowers. It's not blooming as well this year as it has in previous years. I think I have 3 open, 1 or 2 buds, but I do see some nodes that look like they might bloom, so they're bulging at least, and so therefore I might get a second blooming in a couple months, but you know, it's not as good a show when it's staggered like this. But you can see from my old canes over here that it bloomed much better in previous years. Now, I leave my old canes on the Nobiles because sometimes either they'll sprout a kiki, or actually you can actually get them to sprout another flower on an already bloomed node. So I just leave them until they turn yellow, and then I cut them off. So this is Holy Night. Okay, now I'm up in my grow room. I have another one of these white Phalaenopsis, no ID, also dug out of the trash. It's in bloom. The shape, the organization of the flowers is not as nice on this one, which is why I don't have it downstairs for display. Let's see, I have the Lindleyanna. It bloomed once already. You can see the old flowers, but then it has another set coming into bloom right here. 3, though, I don't know, it looks a little dry. I might lose that bud right there. Let's see. The Radiata is in bloom. It has another spike with buds. Not a great flowering this winter. It really needs to be repot, but if I repot it, then I don't know what I'm gonna do with all divisions. Be interested in trading them or giving them away, though I don't know how to do a giveaway. Let's see, I have a Richard Mueller cross in the back there that's just coming out of bloom. Up on the top there is my Potenara Cheryl Winkleman Chris, which I got from Hauserman's like 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. It's been in bloom for at least a month now. The flowers are starting to fade. Right here I have my Dendrobium Starburst Vista. It's got 3 spikes and it's coming very nicely into bloom. It was part of the Aussie Dendrobium special that I got from Fred Clark. If we move through the plants, I have a nun orchid. This is a Phaeocalanthe kryptonite. I don't know if it's chariots of fire or not. It's just starting to open. Let's see, I have Hibiki pink elephants that's insisting that it'll bloom once before it dies. Though maybe this growth will survive, but you can see this growth over here. This looks like the crap. I have Yen Corona Green Genie that's still in bloom. Very substantial flowers, really good substance. Blooms a long time. Down here, let's see, Hawaiara, Lava Rebirth Puanani. It's been in bloom about a month. I've got a little stars back here. It's got 2 flowers facing us, and you can see it has 2 more in the back there that are just opening up. I have an epidendrum right here. It's called Fimbriatum, and it has tiny little flowers that are always, this is a perpetual bloomer and it never stops. I really like, that's why I got it. I got it because it's just gonna always be in bloom. I'm still trying to figure out what's alive or dead on it so that I can trim it a little bit and make it a little more tidy looking. Here I have a, let's see, this is a springbird Kurashiki Kiki, actually. Kiki division that I have right here. I have a much bigger plant of this that really needs to be divided up, but then again, I still have the problem is if I divide it, what am I going to do with all the pieces? My Encyclia polybulbum is not doing so hot in the blooming this year. Just one right here. It's a miniature. I really like it. But for whatever reason this year, instead of having lots of blooms, it does like to bloom off the new growth. It just has one. Let's see, I have another epidendrum here. It's macrum. Let's focus on it. There we go. It has a whole bunch of spikes coming in, and then right here, you can see it has little tiny yellow flowers. This blooming is really weird on it because usually it does tall spikes with the tiny little flowers on it. I have what I think that's a Vecchi Velina. It's a Velina that's gonna come into bloom right there. I cannot get the spike back in, so that's right there. Let's see, I have Aussie chip in spike. I have microchip in spike, so here's the microchip in spike. Aussie chip back over here in spike, but not in bloom yet. Some of these guys take a long time before they actually go into bloom. Okay, let's see. I have my Little Mermaid Janet, just finishing up. It's already deflowered. All the flowers already fell off the other spike, but it's still finishing up here. I have my Dendrobium Cuthbertsonii Pink Giant by Orange Delight crosses right here. So these 3 plants, actually 4 plants because there's actually 2 plants on this mount because you can tell by the different flowers. They bloom a long time. They're actually all the same cross, and you can see that I have 4 different kinds of flowers from this cross, and I got this from Golden Gate Orchids, and you can see I'll have new buds coming off to come into bloom. Too many O's in this. My Sogo Vivian variegated right here is in bloom. My Phalaenopsis schilleriana is in spike. This is probably not a Dendrobium, Jonathan's Dark Joy. It's probably a different type because it doesn't look like a Dark Joy. This piece actually, the sad piece right here, actually has a tiny little new growth down in the medium, which we can't see, but it basically it's in there because when I was repotting and dividing it this summer, it fell off, and I'm too much of a wuss to pitch in the compost, so I stuck it in a pot, and it lived, and it put out 2 flowers. We have here another nobly type Dendrobium. This is Spring Dream Kumiko. I also have the Spring Dream Apollon. My Apollon, I think, has just 1 or 2 flowers. It's not quite ready yet. Let's see, I think Apollon's right next to it. So here's Apollon, and here's 2 small buds on the Apollon. It's all the flowers you're seeing here is from the Kumiko. I have both Dendrobium speciosum madam in bloom back here. This thing is never going to stop, or at least not for a while. And then, of course, this Kingianum, where 2 different Kingianum clones were across each other. You can see it's just a mass of little purple flowers here. Let's looking for more stuff, but this has been in bloom since December. Okay, going up top, let's see, that's my drumbeat heritage. Could be mislabeled. The flowers really don't look right, and I don't like the flower shape. I really, I don't know, I don't want to compost or give away that plant. Up on top is my Remiana or Romanian Woolly from was it Sea God Nurseries. It's got actually, I think, 2 spikes, so there's 1 there, and then there's 1 around the side here where you can see 2 flowers are kind of hidden. I have my Momolani Rainbow right there in bloom. It's got 2 flowers. The spike is not well placed, it's kind of hidden. Right in front here is my Fred Clark Cara After Dark, Baker's Black Magic. So it's a different clone than everyone else has. Very black, 3 spikes that made it. Could have had 6, but only 3, and I guess I have to be satisfied with 3. So, alright, this is my Dendrobium Goldschmidtiana that I won at the Illinois Orchid Society raffle, and it's almost done. This starts out as a pale cream color, and then it becomes this slightly darker pink. It looks really different than the pictures that I've seen online, because most of those are very, very dark pink, almost magenta. It's very light in comparison. I have at least 2 Shari babies in bloom here. So I have this one right here, which is my yellow panda. It's been in bloom 3 or 4 months now. And then in the back there, I have, I think, Red Fantasy in bloom. My Presidium Flyaway Tida is just finishing up finally. So you can see the flowers at the end of the spike are still doing pretty well, but the stuff farther down, which would have opened first, is really fading. I have, this is Cymbidium encephalium. It's an Asian Cymbidium that's in bloom. It's got 2 spikes, so try to get, it's hard, it's in the light. And they're almost completely open now. And then what else do I have? Oh, down here at the bottom, my Richard Mueller crosses are pretty much going, but I have 1 Hoku gem that still has good flowers on it. Okay, finally I have some twinkles in this tray here. A bunch of them are already done, but this is a Twinkle Red Fantasy that's still in bloom, and it's scented and would smell really great if I didn't have the Kingianums in bloom because they overwhelm everything. And then finally I have here, this is plant I got from Carter's and Holmes, I think 5-6 years ago. It's a Junebug Venice Sunshine, and it's just starting to open up. Okay, almost missed this one because it's in the back of my growing space, but I have a Maikai Louise coming into bloom. It's opening up. I'm going to have to figure out how to get in there and turn it around so I can see the flowers. And that is it for my blooming updates.